Hi everyone and welcome to the 2019 Bradford Premier Small Animal Show. I'm Alan Messick with The Rabbit Show, and this is the very first interview we're going to do this weekend. We're excited to be here, of course, live throughout the weekend, broadcasting our judging and, of course, interviewing some of the most legendary breeders in the hobby, in the world. None other today and this morning to start our live interviews than Judge and former British Rabbit Council President, Mr. Alex Hogg. Welcome to the Rabbit Show program, Hogg. And it's a real honor to speak to you and to have you, be our first interview, because you've been doing this for how long?
Since I was a little boy.
Since you were a little boy. I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but how many years have you been doing the rabbit hobby?
60 years.
60 years. And
That's show.
how many? That's a long time. 60 continuous years.
Yes.
And what breed have you raised this entire time?
Polish mainly.
Mainly
that's
Polish.
being where I've had all the success.
And we call the Polish something different in the United
Britannia
States.
Petite.
Britannia Petite. So if you've been doing Polish for 60 years, Britannia Petites have been recognized in the ARBA not a terribly long time. Do you remember when they went to the U.S. for the first time?
I think so, but not totally.
It wasn't something that the British were involved in necessarily.
No, not really. But they seem to have done all right with them in the States.
Yes, they're got a lot of new colors in the United States now.
Yeah, I like the coloured ones too, but I've always specialised in the red-eyed whites.
So you've always had red-eyed whites, and if you're raising red-eyed white Britannia Petites, or you're calling Polish here in the UK, do you specialize in brew only red-eyed whites? Would a breeder have multiple colors?
There is some breeders have multiple colours, but I just specialise in red-eyed whites.
Just red-eyed whites.
I've had colours, I've had best red-eyed whites and best coloured at Bradford.
You had colored ones,
Yeah.
and you won with colored ones.
I've won the two classes.
What color was the color?
It was a Martin Sable.
What we call Sable Martin.
Yeah.
Okay, and I believe, remember 3 or 4 years ago, Best in Show in the youth show here at Bradford was a Martin Sable Polish. Do you remember that?
Yeah, you get some really nice colours, but I personally, in the colours, I like Martin Sables.
It's really striking.
Myself, yeah.
But today you only have
Red-eyed whites,
red-eyed
yeah.
whites. Tell us a little bit about your history. So you started as a kid,
Yeah.
correct? And you grew up and you still live on the Isle of Man.
Yes, which is only small.
Where is the Isle of Man for our
The Isle of Man
visitors?
is in the middle of the Irish Sea.
Okay.
It's in between Ireland and England.
In between Ireland and England, middle of the Irish Sea.
Yeah.
How big is it? How many people?
There's about 75,000 people.
Oh, it's 75,000 people, so it's a fairly large city.
It's big in finance.
Big in finance. Somebody said yesterday that it was big in finance because at one time there were tax breaks. Is that true?
Yeah.
For banks or something like that? Is that still true today?
It seems to be changing.
It seems to be changing. So you live on an island that you have to take a ferry to come to mainland.
4 hours on the ferry.
4-hour ferry ride. So this is not an island you can take a train or a bridge to.
No.
Amazing.
And if you get rough weather, it can be rough. The Irish Sea is very rough.
How often do you come to off the island to show rabbits every year?
4 or 5 times.
That's it?
Yeah.
When you were younger and you were doing more shows, how many times did you come
Trouble was,
over?
when I was young, we had a hotel, so I couldn't get as often as I would have liked.
But you were running a hotel.
Yeah, we owned it
So
at the time.
So you're actually traveling more now.
Yeah, can do it all now.
Very interesting. Do you have shows on the Isle of Man?
Yes, we have shows.
How many times a year?
About 4 shows a year. But they're not as they were. There's a lot of fanciers gone out of it, got older and so forth. So we're struggling for fanciers, really.
Do you feel like you're struggling for fanciers in where you're from, or do you feel like it's hobby-wide in the United Kingdom?
I think it's hobby-wise, actually, whereas a lot of young people like computers more than they do livestock. As you know yourself, having livestock, they have to be seen to every day and fed and watered and cleaned.
Exactly.
Otherwise, they're in trouble.
What was different then? Why were kids interested in owning animals when you were younger?
Well, I don't know, you just seem to like them. I mean, I always liked animals. I mean, we show dogs as well.
What type
My
of
wife
dog?
shows them, Shetland sheepdogs.
Shetland sheepdogs. Wow.
Yeah, she's done all right. Nothing to shout about. She's done okay. They're all qualified for cross.
How for Crufts, which is like the Westminster Dog Show that we say in rabbits for dogs in the U.S. Do you feel like the hobby in dogs has changed?
The
like
dog
rabbits.
side of it, I can't talk a big lot about that.
Okay. So you're not sure if there's less or more people now than there were then?
I think seeing what, from the years we've been in, I think it's gone down slightly.
Gone down.
But there's still a lot.
Right.
I mean, Puffs will have 24,000 dogs there.
And how many rabbits today are here at the Bradford Premiere Show?
There's 1,400.
And 1,400 rabbits, is that a big size Bradford show in your experience?
It's a good size.
Good size.
Yeah.
And you've been coming to this show for how many years?
Let's see. 55 years.
55 years. Do you remember your very first Bradford?
Yes.
How old were you?
I was in my 20s.
In your 20s. And you were showing Polish?
No, I was showing dwarfs then.
Really? What variety?
Red-eyed white dwarfs.
That's your color, isn't it? Yeah. And what was your first impression when you walked in when you were in your 20s? Do you remember?
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
You know, when you come into Bradford, you know, the size of it to start with, it really blinds you, you know.
It's something special.
Special, you know, all the fanciers. You'd eventually get to know a lot of the fanciers. Start stewing.
Of course. We'd say that, we say in the United States that Bradford is like the ARBA convention. Would you say that was, do you know what the
That's
ARBA
true.
convention is?
Yeah.
It's the most premier show.
Yes, this is the main show.
But what's really interesting is that you have 2 shows in BRC every year that have sort of this prestige.
5-star.
You have a 5-star show.
Well, London is a good show too.
So Bradford
London
in January, London Championship, and that's in October. And you've done something that only one other person in rabbits in your country has done, correct?
No, they haven't done it.
You're the only one. What is it? Explain to us.
Well, I have won every star status, like from 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star, and 6-star.
You've won Best in Show
Best
at all
in
the
Show.
plus levels.
There's only ever been 2 6-star shows.
What year were those 6-star shows?
They were 2000 and about 2006. But the first one, I was second. Phil Harrison won the first one, and I won the second one. And they were both 2-day shows. We used to have then, at that time, we had a couple of big shows at Birmingham, one of the big sports places.
Is that where the 6-star show
where the
was held?
front is? No, the 6-star show was held at Stafford,
Okay.
which is a big complex. But it was really good. That was something else too.
And yesterday I was visiting with Phil Harris, actually, and he mentioned this because he has a lot of respect for you as well. Both of you have an incomparable past.
Well, he's a nice shot fella and he does very well.
Does very well.
Very, very well.
As do you, and he has an incredible amount of respect for him. You're a competitor of his. I mean, he raises tans, but when it comes time for winning Best Fancy and the challenge for Best in Show, the two of you have gone head-to-head a few times.
Yeah, you want to win.
Absolutely.
Well, usually I'll have a chat to Phil when we arrive at the shows. Like I spoke to him this morning, what have you got, Phil? Well, I would like it a little bit better, but you know, that's the way it goes, isn't it? So we'll see.
And you've raised dwarfs and you've raised poles, but do you have an appreciation for other breeds as well?
I like Rex.
Rex,
I
okay.
like, to be truthful, I like a lot of the breeds. I wouldn't want to have them,
Sure.
but there is some absolutely stunning.
You can appreciate them.
Yeah, oh God, there's some.
Are you a judge as well?
Yeah,
And you're a 5-star judge, I imagine?
yeah,
So you can judge other breeds.
yes. But I don't usually. I usually only do Polish.
Only Polish.
Years ago, Bradford here, in the fancy, when they'd all judged their groups, there used to be maybe 3 or 4 of the judges then judged all the rabbits, all the fancy rabbits, between them, and that was the judges that were judging on that day.
Really?
So it was good really, because you'd have the other judges like say with tans or
Yes.
dwarfs or Dutch, and the rabbits were out there and you would compare against them.
So it would be like a panel judge.
Yes, yeah.
And when did that change?
It's changed a few years now, but I used to think that was absolutely fabulous.
So would the judges then talk about the rabbits?
Well,
between
yeah,
them?
you would go through them and you would say like, well, I like that, or I don't particularly like that, and then you would come to a compromise.
And the four of you would come to decisions for each class.
For the best.
That sounds for the best. So this is for the challenge.
And this would be for the best fancy and all the other breeds like fur and Rex.
And so
them judges do the same.
The word here in BRC is challenge. To us in the ARB, we call that like the group winners for best in show. So it's a group of breeds that are similar here. So what are the four challenges you have in BRC? What challenges will we see today before best in show?
You'll see fur, fancy, and Rex challenges.
So there's actually
and lops.
Four. So fur, fancy, Rex,
and lop challenges. And they'll all have individual judges doing them.
And what compromises the fancy group? What breeds?
In the breeds, you'd have Tans, you'd have Polish, Dutch, Himalayans, English, Lionheads,
Harlequins, Silvers, I believe,
too. Silvers, and Harlequins, Belgium Hares, they'd all come into that group.
And I heard that this Bradford show, because it's in January, it's a colder time of year, obviously. So certain breeds do better at Bradford. Would you say that fancy breeds tend to do better here?
No, I think the likes of the Rex breeds.
Because of the fur?
I think in general, really, it's a good time because it's cold and the rats harden up that bit better. You know,
so they feel better.
You feel better, yeah. You haven't got as much mold. By Bradford, the youngsters you bred that year should be all in full coat. So you're getting the best of it.
Absolutely. Is this show typically a show won by a buck?
No.
Does have won before?
I've won with does.
Have you really? In your breed?
Yeah.
Very interesting.
But I won best in show with the doe.
What year did you win best in show, Bradford?
76.
1976. It was with a doe. Have you seen other does win best bull since then?
I've won a lot. I suppose I've won more does than anybody else.
Interesting. Do you find that different for other breeds, though? Typically, bucks tend to win.
Bucks, yeah. But yet in Ermine Rex, the does do better.
They do.
They've got better coats and more push. The bucks seem to be harsher coats.
Okay.
But it's still some nice.
Of course. With Polish and does winning, are they does that have had litters before, or are they typically does that have...
Most times no.
So they're fairly young. They're under a year?
Yeah.
At what age would you say a doe looks, one of your does looks her best?
9 months.
9 months. Okay, so just as she's getting ready to go into breeding, right into her prime.
See, the thing is, once you get them so fit, they won't mate it, don't they?
Of course. And then they probably don't show off as well.
You touch them and...
Yeah.
Can I say the back end will go?
You can say that. We know what that means.
Yeah.
So, before we wrap up, you were once president of the BRC, the British Rabbit Council, and it wasn't very long ago, was it? You don't want to talk about it? Okay.
It was all right.
It was all right.
Yeah.
But I guess I have a question about the way the BRC works. Is the president chosen every year?
Yes.
That's how it works. So in the ARB, you have a term of 2 years before you have to go up for an election again.
Because you're vice president.
Right. In BRC, it kind of works up, doesn't it? You become president after being vice president, after being...
Yeah.
Is it something like a chairman?
No, I'm not doing that. I just went in.
You went right in.
Yeah.
Very good. Are there other breeders here from Isle of Man?
Yes, there's 5 of us altogether.
Did you all travel together?
Well, 4 of us this time because one of our friends has not been too well of late. So he flew. It was a bit much for him. Getting up early morning to come in the car.
It's a long journey.
Yeah, so he flew to Manchester and then come up by train. So,
very good.
He's an Ermine man.
Ermine Rex?
Our other friend, he's a Polish man, Ian Radcliffe. So,
and you've known him, I'm sure, many years?
Quite a long time now, yes. Mike with the Ermines, I've known him since he was a little boy.
Wow.
As David Gallagher, even. I knew David when he was about 8.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, being in the hobby for 50 years.
But I was a friend of David's dad, you know. It's just evolved from there, and Peter Faines as well. When I first met Peter, we went back and stayed at Peter's house with his dad.
Really?
And I always remember sitting all night talking about English to Peter because he had English.
That's what he was raising.
Yeah, he had some nice English. We've been ever since then, you know. We've been godparents to his children. We've been holiday. We've done everything together.
You mentioned the connections and the people, and What is most important over time that keeps you connected to the hobby? Do you feel it's the rabbits, or do you feel it's the social aspect of people?
The rabbits.
It is the rabbits for you.
For me.
And your history tells.
But I do like the people a lot, The rabbits are the
Number one. Of course. And you're showing now, correct?
I'm showing now.
I better let you go so you can go.
Lovely meeting you,
watch.
Alan.
So nice meeting you. Thanks for spending some time with us
I hope you
and introducing your hobby, of course. And good luck today.
Yeah. Good luck, Joe.